Hey, my name is Sean. Welcome to Echoes in Eternity Bourbon. Have you ever felt like you've been in like a third-rate hangover movie? So yesterday was an incredibly awesome day. Had so much fun. There's so much to break down here. So please, be patient with me as I kind of go through a lot of things. Uh, July started off with a bang. I've collected so many bottles while I'm on vacation that it's just insane. And I figure I might as well go ahead and start talking about that. But also, I had some amazing opportunities yesterday. The bourbon community is just outstanding. I mean, there's a true bond and a brotherhood there a lot of times that, it's just like any good group you get in. You find people from all walks of life, but if they have something they really enjoy, you can just kind of unwind and go through it. I had a great opportunity yesterday to hang out with Terrence, one of the people that contributed to this channel so much. And we got to hunt some bourbon, and I'll go through some of the different bourbons that we collected. But I didn't do a whole lot of video. Got some a little bit of video with Terrence talking about what he was able to get, and some pictures and stuff. But I just wanted the experience to hang out with him more than anything. And it's just, there was no awkwardness or anything like that. I mean, it's like we saw each other, we said, hey, we went into a store, we hopped into his vehicle, and we just went. And it was just like two old friends that hadn't seen each other in a few years, but let's just start talking about life and bourbon and having a good time. Outstanding time. Prior to meeting up with Terrence, I got to meet up with somebody else that contributes to this channel, and I'll talk about that in a little bit too. But was able to pick up a very unique bottle, actually a couple of the very unique bottles. So it was very excited about that. Also, he gave me some things that I'll go over as well. And then after that, after I had the opportunity to meet up, um, you know, with that Muffin Man. I'll just go by that Muffin Man for the first gentleman. That was in Noonan. Then I was able to meet up with Terrence and Conyers. I was able to head over and meet with two of the guys at Whiskey Wisdom, and had an amazing time. And go to one of their liquor stores. Didn't purchase anything there, but got to meet the owner, Thomas. Outstanding guy. We got to go in their wine tasting room, and I'll go into that too. But it was just outstanding day. But what I'll do first is I guess I'll kind of go over some of the things that I've been able to collect so far this month. Which, like I said, I've gone over budget, but sometimes that happens. And if you notice, I've got a drink poured here. I was specifically told by Matt at Whiskey Wisdom, let it set. Maybe make a sandwich, mow a yard, build a house, let it set for a little time, and then come back to it and see what I thought. My thing that killed me the most is he gave me a couple samples, and my first thing is it says, "Hello, my name is Chicken Cock." So I mean, you gotta love that. You gotta love that. You gotta love the sense of humor of the guys at Whiskey Wisdom. But let me get into some of the things that I was able to pick up, and some of the different things that we've got out here, and kind of go through that. Um, uh, Also, two cigars. Can you beat that? Brandon over at Whiskey Wisdom got me the Illusione, and I'll probably just destroy the name of this. But I'm going to be having this weekend with some fine bourbon, I'm sure. And my brother-in-law also got me a Buffalo Trace cigar. So a couple great cigars from guys that I can't wait to try out this weekend with some bourbon. But let's get into some of the bourbon that was collected. That way I can maybe clear this off a little bit, because I've got a lot going on right here, right now. Um, First bourbon, I'll tell you what. I'll go with. I think this was the first bourbon that that Terrence and I picked up, and this comes from Super Jasper Package. It's a single barrel hand select. The cool part about this is that this is a survivor barrel. So, and I'll tell you what, Terrence has an amazing palate. And so when he suggests something, I'm like, I got to try it because, you know, him and I's palates are very, very similar. He's got some great stuff. And so when he says this right here, this is going to be interesting, and I wanted to get a bottle of this, I'm like, well, hell, I got to get a bottle of this too, then, Terrence. And I'll share some pictures, you know, through the video and stuff. But this one right here, I was very interested in because it was left outside to the elements for a long period of time. We kind of forgotten about, so they call it the survivor barrels. There's actually a story behind it too, which is pretty neat. So I said, let's get that. This was the first bottle of the day. I'm like, yeah, I like unique. I like store picks. I like something that has a story. I'm a sucker. P.T. Barnum would love me coming in. But I said, let's get this and let's see what we got. So I ended up picking up this. And let me see. I'll put it over here for now because I'm sure this is going to get real cloudy real fast. Um, Next bottle I'm going to pull out, and I don't have any specific order. George Dickel 15. As you can tell, this has already been opened. Um, get into the story about that in a little bit. But this was the last bottle of the day that Terrence and I found at the last store. We had kind of blown through our budget, but he was like, "Hey, there's this one store that's kind of on the, you know, off the beaten path a little bit. Want to check it out?" And we had talked earlier in the day. You know, he's like, "I like, you know, the older Dickel stuff." You know, he was a big fan of the 17-year, um, the 17-year Blue Note. Which that is not the 17-year Blue Note. But he said, I really like when you get the older Dickel and it's, you know, more than the 90 proof, because a lot of stuff you're going to find is right at 90 proof. And so we went into this store, we looked around, didn't see much. Terrence sees some great stuff. And so he's like, hey, tell me about that Dickel up there. And so they pull it down and it's 100 proof Dickel and it's 15 years. And he's like, you got to get this. And I'm like, do you want it? And he's like, no, you got to get it. I said, okay. Well, sure enough, he finds a second bottle sitting down there on the bottom. They had two bottles. We got the last two bottles there. And I was like, man, that is outstanding. And so I'll give a little bit more story on this as we go. This is probably going to be a real long video. Just letting you know if you need to go make some eggs or have a sandwich or whatever, I got you. So we went through that. Next, we went to a different store and they had some interesting options with things with store picks. And I thought this could be fun too, because they also had, and I'll get into a little bit of what you could buy once you buy one of their store picks. So there's a tower of store picks that they have, and this is at Sigmund Bottles in Conyers, Georgia. So they have this huge tower um, of store picks that they've got there. And if you buy one of their store picks, you have an option to buy something else if you're interested. And so we talked to the gentleman there, you know, and I always ask when I go in places, can I video? I want to make sure that it's okay. And these were brand new places to me. You know, one of the places like the Sigmunds, they're like, look, you know, I need to talk to the owner. There are meetings. I can't authorize it. I said, no, that's fine. You know, you want to be fair because this is somebody else's business. And if you're going to be in there doing stuff, you want to make sure you have their permission to do it. But like I said, I was having more fun just hunting with Terrence than trying to do videos. But I did absolutely love their selections there. And so I asked if I could film. And he says, you know, the owner's in a meetings. I can't really do this for you right now. And I said, no, that's not a problem. Maybe in the future, because I could see myself going back there. They have some really cool stuff. But they had three different maker's marks. And this one was the candied red apple, I think this one was. The candied red apple. They also had like a Mexican chocolate one, and they had another one there. I think it was a cinnamon one. But I picked out this one right here, and actually I think Terrence picked out the exact same bottle. So these first two bottles we both got the same bottle on. And I guess I shouldn't spoil his part of the video. Sorry about that, Terrence. I'll slow it down. This is Sean. I'm hanging out here today with Terrence. He's been taking me to some of his spots out here. So thankful for that. I'm going to let him review some of the bottles that he's got here and see what we got. But he turned me on to some great stuff. Let's see what we got here. Terrence, why don't you share with what we got today, man? I certainly appreciate the trip today.
Yeah, so we went to several places. I would say a total of 4 or 5 places today. Start out with, we got a Buffalo Trace store pick.
Nice store pick there.
Which you don't find these too often. So there's probably some extra age on those things.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
I got a Maker's Mark private barrel. It's called the Candy Red Apple.
And that sounds delicious.
Sounds amazing. I got a Dickel 15, 100 proof, which you don't find too often. So I'm excited about this.
Very excited about that because one thing Terrence said is you can't find them usually in that range. And the last place we went, he absolutely hammered it and found 2 of them.
And then I have the Double Oak store pick, which I'm excited about. I love Woodford Double Oak. So we got that. And then the two gems. We got a E.H. Taylor small batch.
Man.
At a really good price.
A very good price. Sigmund's helped us out there. Now, we couldn't record in there. We asked up front, but they did have some killer prices on things.
And then a Stag 22. So I'm very excited about this.
We absolutely piled up on this. I'm very excited. I'm going to open mine up later and show you when I get home and settled and stuff. But Terrence, thank you so very much for spending the time with me today and hunting with me today. My wife may not be very happy with some of the choices I made today, but I'm very happy with the life choices I made today.
Thank you, Sean, for coming up. I appreciate that.
Terrence, I truly appreciate it, man. Thank you. And then this last bottle here was also, as you can see, it's been opened and sampled already. You know, this was from Sigmund's as well. And this is a Woodford Double Oak store pick. Never seen a store pick. So we'll get into the kind of tastings on that because the guys at Whiskey Wisdom, you know, I love to share bourbon. I'm probably to the point that I made them awkward because I kept like pushing bourbon on them. You know, I don't know if you can really push bourbon on Matt and Brandon and Thomas, but I kept saying, look, you want a sample? Get a sample. You want to try this? Want to try this? So we opened up a bunch of bottles. Had a good time there. But we'll get into that in a little bit. So I'm debating now if this has been open long enough. And I still got a lot of stuff back here. Let me just take a nose on it. It is pretty dark in color. I'll give it that. I think that when we talked about this a little bit yesterday, I think that the nose was right on, kind of like you've got rye whiskey that's been dumped in like old cigarette ash and stirred around a bit. So it kind of hits you up front. There's a little bit of a tainted fruity smell to it too. So I may let it sit out just a little bit longer on that one. Matt, this is where we're going to find out if we're really friends or not after this. I know Brandon and I are friends. I mean, he gave me this awesome cigar. And you gave me this rye, so we'll see. So part of the package deal with these is if you bought, like I said, if you bought a store pick, you had an option to pick up something. So the things that they had for option was an E.H. Taylor small batch. I think this one was like $49 for the small batch. So I was like, oh yeah, let me get an E.H. Taylor. That's pretty awesome right there. So picked up the E.H. Taylor small batch at Sigmund's as part of picking up a couple of their store picks. Also, what did we get there? All the way in the back. Stag Junior 22A. So I was able to get that as part of getting one of the store picks. So, you know, this one was, I think, $129, which is not a horrible price for Stag. It's a bit above MSRP, but it's, you're able to pick up a Stag there, and as long as you picked up one of the store picks. And I was very happy with the store picks that I bought. So looking forward to that, because that'll be a future video that I'll talk about in a little bit. Next bottle I picked up. Oh, wait. I'm going to save on to that one for a minute. There's a story behind that. Save on to that story there. I got a lot of stories today. On the way, this is a bottle you're not going to see. Or if you do, you're very fortunate for this. So on the way to go hang out with Terrence and Conyers, I was able to meet up with that Muffin Man in where were we at? Noonan. And this is the Resurgence Rye, but it was finished in port barrels. Super, super limited quantities. Very excited about this. Opened it up, had a little bit of taste. Can't wait to do, and let the guys at Whiskey Wisdom and Thomas there try this out. Can't wait to do a review on this. This is a special bottle for me because of part of the rarity on this, and it was also a gift to a friend as well. And I know this person's going to drink this, and they're a big ASW fan, and they'll definitely enjoy it. So definitely looking forward to the Resurgence Rye, finished in a port barrel. Just initial last night, super smooth. Got some very, very. It's basically it's added some sugars to it as well. A lot of fruits in there, which go really neat with a rye in there. So looking forward to doing a full review on this in the future. Next bottle, I actually picked this up for a friend. This is the Baker 7. And so, my buddy Brian at Guitars, Whiskey, and Golf, he had been looking for a Baker 7 that had 8+ years on it. Because you can see on the labels, it has more years on it and things like that. His was 8 years, 7 months. So I said, oh, yeah, let me get this for Brian. And so he's also a part, oops, sorry about that. He's also a part of the blind kit. Whiskey Wisdom's team will be a part of the blind kit as well. So he'll be getting this and something else that he's been looking for, and the blind kit and a few samples, because I just like to give out samples. I figured out that if I was a millionaire, I'd probably just be driving down the road with the sample kit and bottles of bourbon, just asking people if they're 21 and they'd like to try it. Apparently, that's a flaw that I have, a fatal flaw. But I love it though. I love people to try stuff that I like, just to see what their thoughts are on it. But getting this over there for Brian, so looking forward to that. I think that's going to be outstanding for him, and I'm sure he's going to do some great content on that. And man, I'm trying to find out if we're really friends or not here. I almost get like and I'm inhaling deep to try to figure out what else is in there. I'm almost getting like a grape nuts note to this. I put it in my old Rip Van Winkle distillery glass. I'm hoping that somehow this glass will have magical powers and infuse this into this bourbon. But we'll go ahead and go in for the first sip. It tastes like I drank the ashtray. I mean, at first in your mouth, it's not horrible. But then when it gets in the back of your palate, in the back of your throat, it really does. It kind of tastes like you drank out of an ashtray a little bit. It's got a real funky finish to it as well. Not a huge fan of this. I'll have to come back for a couple more sips after my stomach stops doing flips on this for a minute and see what I think of it in a minute. Because I always try to be fair. Matt, I don't think you were being fair when you gave me the sample, but I always try to be fair. Oh, another bottle over at Sigmund's. So they must have found that I love Elijah Craig. Elijah Craig Private Barrel. It seems to be one of my favorites, and I absolutely love it. And when they had one over there at Sigmund's that was 130.2 proof, I said, okay, I've got to get it. And so they were taking a lot of my money yesterday. But you know what? It was a very nice store, and got to hang out Terrence, which was awesome because it's nice when someone shares the places that they hunt. Man, I'm still getting a funky aftertaste on this. It's still a nice place. It's awesome when people share the places that they hunt and they're successful at. I think it's super cool that people say, "Hey, this is where I've had good luck," because you can't collect it all, and you want people to have opportunities. And Terrence bringing me in there, I mean, you killed my budget for the month, and I still have a lot of stuff at Maple that I got to get to. Um, but man, I'm not sorry for the bottles I picked up at all. Fantastic there. And so, while they're at Sigmund's again, a Buffalo Trace store pick. I'm like, golly. Now, this store pick wasn't a part of anything where you would be able to get the Stag or the E.H. Taylor because it was in a different section. Because they were like, no, you can't get a Buffalo Trace store pick and then get a Stag, which would have been amazing. But no, I understand the principle behind it. And a very reasonable price, $35. So you couldn't beat it there. Like I said, really impressed with the store setup there. I think they did a great job. All right, Matt. This doesn't seem to be getting better with time sitting out here. I just can't get past the funk on it. And you get the kind of I'm not getting a whole lot of super rye. It's kind of like a moldy bread ashtray type of thing going on. This may be the worst thing I've ever drank. I'm almost afraid to see if I can find a blind off to send you of the worst things there are to drink. But this one might be the winner right here. And I truly do not like to bash stuff. But I think this one deserves it, Matt. I think I'm just going to take this, put it over here, and I think I'm good on that right now. You told me it was pretty rough. Yeah, it's pretty rough. Oh gosh. Oh. So, and now I'm going to kind of get into some things that I call special bottles, not for the fact that I was able to go out and find them and purchase them, but because they were gifts. And I I am always appreciative anytime I get a gift, and I truly am appreciative. So yesterday, met up with Terrence, and he got me this experimental finish, and this is the Nulu and Honey Barrels, and I have been looking for this, and this is from the House of Bourbon. Definitely been looking for this. Had a small sample of it yesterday, but we were sampling so many things I didn't think it would be fair yesterday to try to review anything outside the review I did yesterday morning. But I am looking forward to this. The honey barrels has been something that have been just right in my wheelhouse. Looking forward to it. And Terrence had picked me a winner here. Looking forward to trying this out. While I was with Terrence yesterday, he got me a couple of the Stag 21s. And he also got me this bottle of Stag right here that he had left over. And he was telling me this is fantastic juice. The Stag 21's fantastic juice. And now I've got the Stag 22A. I think I got a Stag 15 down here too. I have enough for a Stag off, which is going to be fantastic. 4 different Stags. I'll be able to do a review on them to see which one I like the best. So, more awesome things from Terrence. And on top of that, he got me a Southern Collective sample. And those that don't know, that's part of this group over here that made one of my favorite bottles of the year so far, the King of Georgia. So I got something now to bounce else from them to see what I think about them. So definitely looking forward to that. Man, I'm running out of room over here. I'm gonna set that right back over here. Oh, while we were out yesterday, we talked about the Dickel. We talked about that. Oh, that Muffin Man got me 4 samples. I'm gonna do a blind on this. He says they're heavily allocated, hard to find things. Get my thoughts on these. I'm interested because he has access to some awesome stuff as well. So I'm hoping not to obliterate this too bad, which reminds me of a story. So this past weekend, we're at the lake house. My brother-in-law, he gets me Jack Daniels 10, Jack Daniels 12, and thank you so much for that, Dwayne. But he sends 3 sample bottles. And I'm like, okay. So my sister-in-law's like, hey, you want to try the samples? Because Dwayne hadn't arrived yet. I'm like, sure, let's do the samples. So the first one I'm going through, I'm like, yeah, this is probably 90 proof. It's got a lot of confectioner sugar in it. You know, I have no idea what this is. Is it this? Nope. What is it? It's Clyde Mays bourbon. I'm like, I've never had a Clyde Mays bourbon. It was pretty good. Enjoyed it. So then I get to the second bottle and I'm like, man, I'm getting so many different, Buffalo Trace notes. I swear I'm getting a little bit of some welder stuff going on there. And I'm like, gosh, what is this? And I'm sitting there and I'm like, it's about 90 something proof. I'm like, is this a Buffalo Trace product? And she laughs and she says, no, it's an infinity bottle. I'm like, Dwayne, how the hell am I going to figure out an infinity bottle, dude? So I'm like, golly, that's messed up. And so the third bottle I'm going through, okay, I'm like, yeah, this is 100 proof. I'm going through some tastings on it and stuff. And I just kind of pulled one out, and trust me, this is just as many bourbons as we try. If you're anyone that does this, it's hard to say, here's 3 blinds, tell me what this is. You can get in the ballpark for proofs, what it is, some of the different notes, but to pull it out, it was like I pulled out Old Tub. I pulled that out of my rear and definitely got that right. Shocking to myself as well. I'm like, oh, I got that one right. But it was fun. And then so now I have some more blinds. I also got, hello, my name is Chicken Cock over here, and this is a finished Chicken Cock. Looking forward to having this. I'm sure it's going to fare a lot better than this rye over here. Looking forward to that. And so, after I got hanging out with Terrence, which was amazing, and then, meeting up with that Muffin Man earlier, I reached out, the guys of Whiskey Wisdom. I said, hey, look, I'm going to be in the area if you guys wanted to, just get together and talk and stuff. And so I was able to meet Matt and Brandon. We went out for lunch. They were awesome. Picked up my tab. And while they were there, they gave me a bottle of this Yeah, Come On Man. So well, yeah, come on. So very excited to try this out. This is from a guy that I guess was a local DJ legend in the area up in Atlanta. He's got his own bourbon going on. Whiskey Wisdom has some very cool stuff coming up. I'm not gonna blow it, but man, they have some awesome stuff coming up. Plus, they're awesome. They're a great channel and they do a lot of awesome things. But they have some cool stuff coming up. Just be on the lookout for that. But they shared this with me and they're like, look, just try it out and give us your thought on it. So I'm like, I can't wait. So I love a good gift. And this was an amazing gift for me. So I've got the Nulu over here. I've got a brand new bourbon I've never tried. And they're like, just give us your thoughts on it. I'm like, can't wait to try it. So looking forward to that. And then so we have the lunch. They pick up the tab. Super nice guy. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to let you off the hook on this one, Matt. You did pick up the tab for lunch yesterday. Got the cigars. Got the samples. Got this bottle, and I'm like, guys, I've got a lot of stuff in the trunk I'd like you to try. And they're like, and plus I brought them a blind kit. And they're like, okay. And they're like, we're going to do this. And they're like, well, wait a sec. Thomas, his liquor store's right here. Let's see if we can go into the wine tasting room. So we go in there and we try, and I'll let them tell you what they think on some of these. But I think they really like the King of Georgia. I know Thomas did. I know Brandon did. And I know Matt liked it. But his favorite was actually the Master Pick 15. Tried that. Tried some of the Stag. Tried some of the Dickel 15, which I think really surprised them, how good the Dickel 15 was. Um, tried the Jack Daniels 12. Even tried the Store Pick Double Oak and had them pour a bunch of samples. They probably thought I was trying to roofie them after a while because I kept giving them, hey, take more, take more. But just had a fantastic time. It's great, made great bonds, not only with Terrence and Matt and Brandon and even Thomas. Thomas, the owner, was like, man, I need to get one of these. So next time I'm up in that area, I've got to bring him a bottle of that. because I have a few. If you've seen my last collection video, super excited about that. So many things that went on yesterday, and so I'm riding home, and I'm kind of just thinking through everything, and it was just, man, what an awesome day. I got to meet so many cool people, got to collect so many great bottles, got so many great gifts, and then I get to the house, and there's something, a surprise waiting for me. And so, for Michael Coughlin is a member of this channel, and he offers some great insight on things. He's also won some things on here, and I'll be real, he's someone that I pray for. He's got some stuff going on in his life, but I pray for him. But unexpected was something here was waiting for me, and this was this Wild Turkey 101 bourbon, the old white label. And it just truly means a lot to me when someone's going through a lot, and that they take the time and they offer up such a wonderful gift. Michael, truly appreciate this. I mean, I couldn't ask for a better day yesterday. I know my wife and my son are like, "Oh my gosh, you're just driving around drinking and having fun with bourbon." Now, I did not drink and drive. I was very conscientious of that. I have a sip of something, but I don't believe in that. Um, but to come home to this on top of all this wonderful experience was just kind of like the icing on the cake. I hope I didn't ramble too much. I hope you guys got something out of the video. I truly appreciate the community. You guys, and you're the ones that have grown the channel. At 750, there'll be something else coming out for some kind of gift for somebody. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to this Sunday. If you knew the phrase on a previous video, to get you involved in the blind sample as well. So I'd like to talk then about all the contestants and stuff on that, but truly an amazing day. Thank you for blessing me. You guys truly bless me all the time, and you guys offer great insight into things. As much as I'd like to say I give stuff out, I receive it tenfold, and it's because of people like you. Um, have an amazing day. I know this was a long, wordy video. I'm sure it was sporadic and all over the place, but that was kind of the day yesterday, but it was awesome. Echoes in Eternity Bourbon. I'm not going to have a final sip on this, but I'll raise a glass to you. Y'all have an amazing day.